When we decided to go for an art installation for the Awakening of Voices event, we had a few inspirations on where to start. Notably, the What Made Me art installation by the Rhoda Grabowska. This art installation involved the audience stringing together pegs on a board to answer the question on what made them them. We wanted that same concept, but also wanted to change it up a bit. Instead of a grid-like pattern, we went for essentially like a train map. Hence why this installation is called Train of Thought. When we see train maps, we see stations and the train we use to get there. The art installation takes that concept, but for answering a series of survey questions towards Filipino-Canadian identity and mental health. The map itself has different shapes to represent the stations, and in the background is a river in the shape of a brain. Like most train maps, such as our Calgary Sea Train map, it has the Bow River incorporated in the map. And the Train of Thought takes that real-life inspiration. The board itself is made of two cork-like pierceable boards joined together with a wooden spine. To cover up the board, we used canvas-like sheet and then painted the river onto it with acrylics. We used wooden spines to pierce the board to create the pegs and outline the shapes. And then we used the colored nylon strings to finish up the installation. This project roughly took 20 hours to complete. Yeah. Each unique shape is related to a question. So for the question, how do you feel today? It's represented by a heart. There are 3 hearts on the board and each individual heart answers that question. So for the first heart on the board, it says happy, and then the second heart, it says sad. Answering the question of how do you feel applies to each shape. So for the questions on the survey, there are different shapes. And then for the strings, it shows each individual who picked each answer. So you can navigate what a person chose in the survey by following the string of each of the shapes. Basically, to go back to the theme of train map, the shapes are the stations and each string is a train path in that map. We are the trains, and then we are just choosing which station to head off to. Art installations are usually big pieces where the audience has their own interpretation of the piece. With us, we originally wanted the audience to participate in the creation of the project, having them physically string the piece. With the current restrictions, we adapted for an online survey, and that way we can still incorporate an audience participation. We placed a lot of thought in creating the survey, trying to focus mostly on Filipino-Canadian target audience of all age groups. We made the questions pertaining towards mental health and identity in themselves and within the community. These questions challenge our current way of thinking in traditional sense and trying to think outside of those ideas that we might have grown up with. At the same time, we also wanted to hear back from each individual's experience and what they had to share. With the help of our social media board and influencers from our following base, we were able to achieve a survey response of 100. We strung roughly 60 strings to capture the survey's overall response.